Hey guys, welcome back to the Просто English podcast. Today is actually the 1st of December, and I feel that winter has already started. It's freezing outside, and while I'm recording this episode, it's even snowing. I know that for many of you, winter is associated with darkness, constant cold, and many layers of clothes that we must wear to feel warm. But I still believe that we can make this season magical, wonderful, and cozy. And that's why in this episode, I'm going to present some wonderful ideas for things you can do this winter to make the most of this season. So let's get started. Idea number one is to bake winter cookies, festive cakes, or make a gingerbread house. To tell the truth, I'm not really a big fan of cooking. But at the same time, when it's cold outside and you want to stay at home, it's nice to eat something delicious. And I love the cozy atmosphere at home when you start baking cakes or cookies with ginger, cinnamon, or let's say brown sugar. For example, last year, my friend and I gathered at her home and baked American cinnamon rolls. And I remember that it was such a pleasant evening. We laughed a lot while enjoying the process of cooking and recording millions of videos for Instagram Reels at the same time, of course, because I'm a blogger. And later, when the cinnamon rolls were ready, we turned on Emily in Paris, boiled tea, switched on some lights, and wrapped ourselves under a blanket. And a year has passed, but I still keep super warm memories from that day in my mind. And this season, I would love to repeat that experience again. Point number two is to read a book next to a fireplace or with a cup of warm tea under a blanket. I've recently finished reading Harry Potter, and I can easily recommend this story to you. If you've never read this book, I believe that winter is the best season to dive into this magical world. As for me, this winter, I'd like to develop the habit of reading books in Polish. The problem is that I regularly attend classes, I do my homework, and I also watch videos on YouTube every single day. But it's still rather complicated for me to read long texts in Polish. So this winter, I've decided to pay more attention to developing this skill. And I'm going to start with some very simple and naive love stories. If you are currently learning a language and you would like to start reading books in that language, you need to choose romances. Usually in those books, the language of the main character is very simple and clear, and the new words you face in those books will be useful for your spoken language. I know that some people recommend reading fairy tales and stories for kids, but I completely disagree because there are a lot of mysterious and specific words in fairy tales that don't make sense to memorize. And it's not casual vocabulary, but book vocabulary, so most probably you will not use those words in your casual speech. Point number three is to try different kinds of hot beverages. For example, now at home I have only coffee, black tea, and green tea, and that's it. But when it's freezing cold, I want to drink something warm every hour. And if I consume too much caffeine later on at night, I simply can't fall asleep. So this winter, I'd like to collect various kinds of warm beverages without caffeine, such as mint tea, fruit tea, flower tea, and etc. But let's be honest, talking about hot drinks, I must mention mulled wine because winter is the season for this drink. And I love grabbing a cup of mulled wine when I have a walk in the city center because afterward I feel so warm and I feel that life is not so dark anymore. And also, I love preparing mulled wine at home by adding some spices, cinnamon, fresh oranges, and some sweeteners. And then you get a pleasing smell in your apartment. And you know, guys, also last year I learned that mulled wine can be made from white wine because I used to think that it was only made from red wine. So this season I would love to try it with white wine. Point number 4 is to have a winter photo shoot. Last year, I had two completely different photo shoots, and now I will tell you more precisely about both of them, and maybe you can get inspired and decide to organize a photo shoot for yourself. The first one was in the city center next to the Christmas decorations and the main Christmas tree of Gdańsk. And I was wearing my casual, warm clothes like a hat, gloves, a scarf, a warm sweater, and a coat. I actually took two coats and two hats and two scarves with me because I wanted to take photos in different clothes. And I actually love this kind of photo shoot because it was very relaxed. We were just walking with a photographer around the old town, finding some attractive spots, and I was simply posing there with a cup of coffee, Christmas lollipops, and Christmas tree branches. The second photo shoot had a completely different vibe. I took part in a project called a photo day organized by my student here in Gdańsk. And the idea was that a photographer, a makeup artist, and a hairstylist rented a studio. And in that studio, they had around 4 or 5 photo shoots a day, providing literally everything like clothes, earrings, shoes, bags, a glass of Prosecco for relaxing, and they also did my makeup and hairstyle. I enjoyed this photo shoot a lot because I had a chance to try on 4 different outfits that had been selected by a stylist because usually I don't wear those kind of clothes in my daily life, so it was an interesting experience to see myself in unusual outfits with extraordinary makeup and hairstyle. And now when I look through these photos, I still can't believe that it's me because I think it's a girl from a fashion magazine. Actually, you can choose, guys, the style of the photo shoot that suits you best, but in general, it's a nice gift to yourself or to your family members because it's always wonderful to look through some photos later on and keep in mind the moments of your life that you are currently going through. Point number 5 is called decorating home. I adore the moments when my husband and I start setting up and decorating a Christmas tree. And we usually turn on some festive songs or the Home Alone movie and enjoy spending this quality time together. We also love creating paintings on the windows with fake snow, and in addition to that, we decorate the windows with some colorful lights. And usually, when we put those lights on windows, I immediately start feeling that it gets much cozier at home. And also last year, we bought a small fireplace. It's a fake fireplace that I usually put on the table next to my computer. And I turn it on when I have classes with my students, and it really makes a difference. My mood usually boosts, and I feel very calm. Point number 6 is connected to winter sport activities. Most probably, you already know that I'm a huge fan of sports, and I adore changing activities all the time to avoid getting bored. And this winter, I've decided to join ice skating classes. I can say that I'm good at ice skating on a basic level, but everything I know I learned by myself in my childhood. And I've always had a dream to go to classes where I'll be shown some beautiful movements and I will be taught how to perform them correctly. So I hope that after this season, I will be even better at ice skating. Other great winter activities are skiing and snowboarding. Actually, my husband and I love skiing, but the last time when we did it was in China about 4 years ago. I know that some people go to different European countries like Austria or Switzerland or Italy to ski resorts, but I've never had this experience. I just think that it's going to be too tiring for me to go skiing, for example, 4 or 6 days in a row. But maybe this year, any weekend, we can go to some hills close to Gdańsk and try skiing there. I think one day is gonna be more than enough for me now. But an Austrian or Italian ski resort, I will keep on my wish list for the future. That's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. Actually, I think I have an unlimited number of cozy and heartwarming activities for the winter season, including visiting winter markets, playing snowballs, building a snowman, wrapping gifts, going sledding, making a snow angel, creating New Year resolutions, and many others. Choose the activities that make you feel happy and boost your mood. Just please let yourself be a child this winter, the child who believes in magic, kindness, and unlimited joy. And please follow this podcast not to miss the next episodes. Additionally, subscribe to my Instagram and Telegram channels because I'm going to have there some great activities for you this winter. And the links to my social media channels you can find in the description of this episode. Stay cozy, take care, and I'll talk to you in my next episodes. See you guys, keep in touch, have a wonderful day. Bye bye.